Reggie Miller on the call for the Sixers-Pacers Thursday night. That's at 7 Eastern on TNT. Reg, also part of TNT's blockbuster MLK Day triple header, the Rockets and the 76ers. Also, that day features the Warriors and the Lakers at 10:30 Eastern. Good morning, Reg. How are you?
Good morning, Theater. Now, Coach Boeheim, he's been around a long time, and he has seen a lot of body types. Fair comparison of Sir Charles and Zion, but two totally different players. Number one, Charles did not have the explosiveness that Zion has. But on the flip side, Zion wasn't not yet because he's still young. Charles would absolutely go through you on a break and was a little bit more refined scorer. So that still has yet to be seen in Zion's game, but he can develop that. I think Charles was a little bit ahead of the game in terms of that 6'3", 6'4", and I'll be generous and give him 6'5" type player that could dominate a game at both ends of the floor. But let's face it, they weren't cut. Charles wasn't cut, but he was strong. He was country strong, as we call it.
But if I said you could have Charles Barkley's career knowing what he did, you're going to have a Hall of Fame career, or I give you the unknown of Zion Williamson, what would you take?
I would take Sir Charles. I would take Sir Charles's career.
Okay.
Yeah, because knowing that I'm going to get the Hall of Fame player, I'm going to get the MVP, led two organizations in Philadelphia as well as Phoenix. There's a lot of Zion is going to put people in the stands, and in today's age of social media, that's huge. Mm-hmm. So I like the upside, but I still don't know. In today's games, you've got to be able to shoot, and that's something that is still the big question mark on Zion. The game that he had, 30 and 15 or whatever last week that we talked about, he made 3 threes. Before that, he had made 4 threes all year. Yeah. So there's a little bit of an inconsistency with his jump shot. But again, that's something you can add. You can become better at that. Michael Jordan wasn't a great jump shooter when he entered the league, became a really good jump shooter. So that's something that's a part of Zion's game that will be added, I believe, later to go along with that athleticism, and I think that's going to make him a much more complete basketball player.
If you had the ability to place Zion Williamson with an NBA team for the betterment of the league, what team would you put him on?
Well, I think it's really going to come down. I think it's going to look a lot like the Frozen card. However, however the Knicks got Patrick Ewing, it was the old myth that it was one of those weighted down balls that, oh my God, the Knicks got Patrick Ewing. Couldn't you just see Zion turning that franchise around? I mean, an electrifying player. The most logical thing, and if you're looking to turn around a franchise, obviously it would be the Knicks. But I would love to see him in Phoenix with Devin Booker and Andre Ayton. I mean, they have corner pieces there. So I could see him in Phoenix as well.
James Harden had yes, something else, Reggie?
Well, isn't it funny? Couldn't you also see him falling to Cleveland? I mean, they get LeBron. They get Kyrie Irving.
LeBron might want to go back. LeBron would go back to Cleveland.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the Cavs got him as well.
Harden scored 57 last night, so that's 17 consecutive games with at least 30 points. How much longer can he keep this up?
Well, he's going to have to keep it up a little bit longer with Clint Capella being out at least a month with the thumb injury. What he's doing, no Chris Paul, no Gordon, now no Capella, and he's still finding ways with double, and yes, I would probably send a triple team at him to score 57 points. I mean, it's phenomenal what he's doing. And where they started, they were 14 out of 15 teams in the Western Conference a month and a half ago. And the stretch he went on in December, and he's currently on here in January, is phenomenal. And he's got 3 key components out, and he's still finding ways to score the basketball, and they're winning. They currently sit 4th in the Western Conference. It's phenomenal what he's doing. Right now, is he my MVP? I think he's knocking on the door because of what he's done. But if he can continue this and they can find a way to get the 3 or 4 spot, this is, again, the best score in today's rules maybe that we've ever seen.
I was wondering this. I was watching some highlights of Luka Doncic. I have a lot of downtime on my hands, just letting you know. So I'm watching some highlights of this. And I started to wonder, who created the step-back jumper?
That's a good question. It's been around a while. It was a big part of my offensive repertoire. I kind of adopted it or got it from Kiki Vandeweghe from UCLA. He taught me the step-back jump shot. But it's been around forever because you can clear space. But if you look at Luka and if you look at James Harden on their James Harden's step-back is more of like a side step as opposed to a true step-back.
Yeah.
He's going to the side, which makes it very difficult for the defender. That's why he's getting so many 4-point plays, because usually a step back is what it's named for. You're going directly back. Harden and Luka, they step back to the side, so when you recover, you're going right into their body, which is allowing you to get those 4-point plays. But it's been around a while, the step back. The step to the side, that's something kind of new that's been on the scene lately, and James Harden, and obviously we're seeing the rookie Luka Doncic reap the benefits of that.
Yeah, I was wondering because I thought of you and that Kobe wanted to study that move in the offseason, one offseason with you. I don't remember Kiki Vandeweghe being a step-back guy for some reason. He was a great scorer.
He was. Great scorer, and, yeah, he had a heck of a step. Now, it wasn't as deep. I shot my step-backs from threes. His was more a mid-range step back, but he could absolutely go left or right with those step backs. A phenomenal score, and I was like, Kiki, I got to have that. So we spent countless hours in the gym during the summer to come up with that shot, and I just extended it to the three-point line. And then Kobe, when we were doing that one-on-one shoot with the real world, and we had some downtime, and he wanted to play one-on-one. I'm like, I ain't playing this kid one-on-one. But when we were messing around, he's like, I got to have it. And I gave it to him, and lo and behold, he used it against me. Son of a. That son of a.
Yeah. Well, but everybody borrows from everybody. I think, but Dirk Nowitzki created something that we had not seen before with his jumper, where he has sort of a step back, but his leg is up into the defender a little bit there. He's probably the creator of that, isn't he?
He is, and who adopted that? Kevin Durant, right? So You're right. Everyone steals or adopts or takes
samples,
and tries to modify samples and tries to modify it into their game. And what makes Dirk and Kevin so lethal is both players are, borderline 7 foot and both have long wingspans. So there's first of all, they don't need to do it because you're not going to be able to block their shot anyways. But creating that distance with that leg being right in front, and what made Dirk so difficult, he would catch that like right around that free throw line area, top of the key. There was no way you could double him because he could see where it was coming from. And he had shooters on the edge, and then at 7 feet, a beautiful touch. One of those shots that arguably one of the toughest shots to guard against.
Could you help Lonzo Ball with this free throw shooting, Reg? Like, there is no reason a point guard in the NBA shoots 42% from the line.
We said that, and we saw Rondo. I mean, you got 2 point guards on your team that can't shoot free throws. It's a little baffling to me because wasn't that the thing that he was supposed to be working on during the offseason, was his jump shot and his confidence and his shooting? It's got to be better. I mean, as a point guard, it has to be better.
Because he's a liability at the end of a game like Shaq was, where you can't – so the guy who's going to have the ball the most, I can't have him in there because he can't make free throws.
You said it. That's it. And there's no excuse for that for a point guard. really, because you are the team. You're the floor leader. You're the team captain, and the ball's in your hand 90% of the time, other than when LeBron James is out there, who's not a great free throw shooter himself. So you've got LeBron, and you've got Lonzo, both guys who are counted on to win ball games for you. They're suspect at the free throw line.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Luke Walton has made a decision. If you look at those close games down the stretch, Lonzo's not on the floor, and it's because of, as you just mentioned, being a liability at the free throw line.
In your last season in the NBA, you missed a total of 18 free throws the entire year. Lonzo has missed 20 of 48, or 28 of 48 already this year.
I think but it's gone now more towards, it's becoming more mental for him. Every time he goes to the line, it's one of those, you're running away from the basketball because you don't want to get fouled.
Yeah.
And it's become more mental every time he steps to the free throw line. And I guarantee you the opponents know that. And they're going to exploit that.
Yeah.
Got to get in the lab, brother. Got to get in the lab and work on that.
If I gave you 20 free throws blindfolded, 60%?
I would go with 60. Now, I would go with 60. Because once you get your rhythm going, you can figure out the distance.
Yeah. I think you might do a little better than that, Reg.
60 is pretty. That's not bad.
Oh, I know, but you were a great free throw shooter. But you put the time in to become a great free throw shooter. You know, that's what.
Those are wasted points. If you are a true scorer and you really want to punish the defense, you can't miss free. Those are give-me's. It's hard enough to score, especially at the professional level, and they're giving you points. You got to take advantage of that.
But I can't have
90%.
Steph Curry shoots a higher percentage from three-point range with somebody guarding him than Lonzo Ball does from the free throw line with nobody guarding him. Reg,
Isn't that sad?
That's crazy.
That's sad.
Also, Paulie said something yesterday that surprised me because I said, you know what? We forget how great Steph Curry is. He had 48 the other night against Dallas, and he makes it look a little too easy. Like we've moved on from Steph Curry, that fascination. Paulie said he would take Steph Curry over any current NBA player right now.
This is the thing. He's a lot like Michael Jordan and Larry Bird in this sense. He changes the way you game plan for the Warriors. When he was out for those 10, 11 games, and it was just Kevin Durant and Clay and Draymond, very difficult to play. KD is a load full and a problem. But for coaches, when Steph is healthy and they're all together, the game plan changes because you've got to pick up, 60, 70, 80 feet when he's on the floor because he's liable to shoot it from anywhere. Pick and rolls with him, you can't switch. You try to hard hedge. You try to go over. You go under, he knocks down three. He is such a weapon, he changes the whole landscape of your game plan. And that's why when they're clicking and rolling and when they get Boogie back on the 18th, which I'm curious to see how he's going to fit in offensively with his team, it's a different dynamic when Steph gets it clicking and gets it going because he stretches everyone's defense to the max. Before you could kind of load the paint a little bit and back off on a few of those, not Clay, and sometimes not KD, but when Steph is out there, your defense is to the max because you have to extend everywhere. And on top of that, he's great without the basketball. So he's constantly in motion. He'll give it up and just keep running, and it makes it very difficult for the defense.
Reg will be on the call, Sixers-Pacers on Thursday night at 7 Eastern on TNT with Kevin Harlan. Also part of TNT's blockbuster MLK Day triple header. He's got the Rockets and the 76ers. Also on that day, Warriors-Lakers at 10:30 Eastern. Reg, safe travels. Good to check in with you. Thanks for joining us as always.
Theodore, Danettes, you're the best. I'm going back to Indiana that's a song, by the way, on Thursday. I will kiss the ground for you. It was when you and Mark Jackson and that smoky bar, we had our come to Jesus moment. which was fantastic during the Final Four. It was that moment I was like, Theodore, we're together. We're going to be together forever, my friend.
But you and Mark Jackson didn't agree on anything.
No, and we still don't.
Like Tyson Holyfield, Marino, Montana. I remember, and you guys looked at me like I was going to decide which one. And then when I would pick one, and then then the other guy would be yelling at me. And I remember smoking cigars, having some drinks, and you guys were so excited about that conversation.
It was great. And I'm going to leave you with this one because we asked you this one.
Okay.
Tony Gwynn versus Rod Carew. Who you going with? This was our big one that we always used to get into it. Who you going with? Tony Gwynn, Rod Carew.
Tony Gwynn.
Oh, you're killing me, Theodore. You're killing me.
Talk to you later.
You're the best.
Thank you, Reg. That's Reggie Miller.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.